Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, 8 o'clock here on Friday. Time for Case's movie review.
For Christ's sake, tomorrow's the 4th of July, and we will be open for business.
What country you from? What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English in what?
Utah. Give me 2.
Do you enjoy pain?
Pain don't hurt.
Wax on, right hand. Wax off, left hand.
Now fry like bacon, you little freshman piggies! Fry! Fry!
Playing football in West Canaan may have been the opportunity of your lifetime, but I don't want your life.
Let's go. So last week he watched The Terminator, and today it's Terminator 2 Judgment Day. If you're just catching up with us, it's because Case has an inordinately large fear of AI taking over the world, because it is. And these movies, The Matrix and The Terminator, pretty much told everybody what's going to happen when we let AI take over. And the issue is that no one seems to be concerned about it. It keeps going forward. So then he watched Terminator 2 yesterday, and that movie came out July 3rd, 1991. Think about 30, almost 4 years ago. They knew what was going to happen, and now it's happening, and we're all going to die.
Hey, Brian, I feel the same way. Amen.
But a great movie. Budget was an estimated $94 to $102 million. It made $520 million, which by 1991 standards is probably like $3 billion today. Rotten Tomatoes offered a 91% approval rating from the aggregated reviews of 91 critics with an average score of 8.5 to 10. This movie changed my life. It changed a lot of people's lives. You should have seen me before 91 as a kid. And after this movie, boy, a different person. That's why the therapy's needed. So let's start off like we always do with the trailer for the movie. This is Terminator 2's trailer 34 years ago.
10 years ago, a machine from the future was sent to kill Sarah Connor. It failed.
I'll be back.
But this time, there are 2. One programmed to destroy, the other to protect.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Rated R.
That's good. A lot of explosions. I need to watch it.
Yeah, no, it's badass. It's like scenes from the movie, you know, like a trailer is.
Yeah,
a lot of explosions in Terminator 2.
So Case never saw it. And Case, what did you think of Terminator 2? Especially after seeing Terminator 1 last week.
While I continue to have entirely justifiable concerns about AI and the future of AI and what it will do to humanity, i.e. make us become extinct, I must say that the 2.5-hour thrill ride that is Terminator 2 Judgment Day is one of the most enjoyable movie-going experiences I have ever seen.
Well, that's great news to hear, because I was worried only for the time length of the movie that you were going to hate it, because you hate long movies.
Long movies. The thing about movies is that they're so long, and long movies in particular are often too long. This is a 2.5-hour movie almost. I would lose nothing from this movie. It is so close to being perfect. You know, if our marker for great movies over the last year with the ones that I've seen on this show have been Shawshank and Pulp Fiction and Jaws, those have been my 3 favorite movies that I've seen so far. This is just a tier below that. This is on that Friday the 13th, Twister, Pretty Woman pantheon of, again, some of the greatest movies that I have ever seen. I had to ask myself going into this what I wanted out of a sequel, because you got to remember, I haven't watched a lot of movies, so it's not like there's a lot of franchises that I'm married to. I haven't experienced a lot of sequels in my life, which is such a weird thing to say. But
especially like not even second dates. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Oh, man. I had a streak of first dates there for a while.
Exactly.
Not a streak of second dates.
First time I thought of a second date as a sequel, too, by the way.
But I had to think about what I wanted from this movie. I wanted to see the characters progress in a natural way. I wanted to see storyline advancement that felt true to the first movie, but also became exciting in the second movie. And I just wanted this movie to feel necessary. And by the end of this movie, undoubtedly it was necessary. It's one of the coolest movies that I have ever seen. And specifically, as we now sort of break into the spoiler portion of this review, I did not know watching the first one that Arnold, Terminator, was going to be the bad guy. That was a surprise to me because the Terminator's beloved. Who doesn't love the Terminator? So going into the second one, I thought, oh my God, they're going to make Arnold the bad guy again. And he was so cool. And especially after he walks into a biker bar naked, kicks said biker's ass, and then puts on their leather jackets, I think, oh my God, this is the coolest looking person that has ever been filmed in the history of cinema. I can't believe I'm going to have to root against this guy again. But that doesn't end up being the case. They turn Arnold into this lovable, human-like machine that learns why people cry, that learns the lingo of the day from a 10-year-old in a Public Enemy shirt, which I thought, okay, go off, King. Being 10 years old listening to Public Enemy, that's very impressive. It is just overall... It is incredible. The action sequences, everything really in the first half hour of this movie, from when we see T-1000, the advanced Terminator.
Who, by the way, is Robert Patrick, the brother of the Filter lead singer Richard Patrick.
Really?
That's his brother.
I did not know that.
In real life, yeah.
Holy cow. Seeing him chase the kid out of the theater where he's playing video games in the arcade into this motorcycle chase scene where at that point, you don't know that Arnold is going to be the good guy in this movie. You think maybe he's trying to kill the kid and the cop is trying to save the kid. All of that stuff with Arnold shooting the shotgun on the motorcycle and the car chase through the valley of Los Angeles that it is. Oh my God, the action sequences there are incredible. The nuclear holocaust, as tough as it is to watch, is this thrill of a scene. It is so well done. And then obviously the conclusion in the steel mill. I mean, this movie, I have such few notes on what I would do differently. I really, really, really love this movie.
Wow.
It's so good. Now, of course, the downside is, because there's always a downside, the downside is we will all die at the hands of AI one day.
But that's not the movie. That's just real life.
No, but we learned nothing from this movie. It's amazing. They laid it out. I mean, Brian, we have the clip of how Skynet was created and the impact that it will have on the modern world. It sounds like everything happening now, and yet we have heeded no warning from it.
In 3 years, Cyberdyne will become the largest supplier of military computer systems. All stealth bombers are upgraded with Cyberdyne computers, becoming fully unmanned. Afterwards, they fly with a perfect operational record. The Skynet funding bill is passed. The system goes online on August 4th, 1997. Human decisions are removed from strategic defense. Skynet begins to learn at a geometric rate. It becomes self-aware at 2:14 a.m. Eastern Time, August 29th. In a panic, they try to pull the plug.
Skynet fights back.
Yes, it launches its missiles against the targets in Russia.
Why attack Russia? Aren't they our friends now?
Because Skynet knows that the Russian counterattack will eliminate its enemies over here.
Jesus.
That is
Why is that funny? Whoever heard that laughed.
I laughed, Kenzie, because of the insanity. That could have been a news report from NBC tonight, and instead it was 34 years ago, and it's exactly what we're doing right now.
It's unbelievable. It is so terrifying.
And the way when the kid says, aren't Russians our friends now? He goes, yeah, but he knows if we attack Russia, all the missiles are still aimed at the United States and every plan we need, so it'll destroy all the humans here.
Think about that. Think about how evil that is.
Genius.
Think about how possible that is. Oh my God.
Kenzie, are you not worried about this?
I think that if anything, it taught us that, sometimes they like us.
Like the Terminators?
when
fine. Sometimes who likes us?
The
Terminators?
Like the Terminators. I mean, I don't know. That's not what we're probably going to call them. So it's hard to rename them the robots. Like Arnold, started to really vibe with us. He didn't want to kill us.
Well, I will say, I was just going to say it because you did do an excellent recap. And I think when you slow it down and go, I was watching that in 1991, then as I was as a kid, when Arnold then all of a sudden the plot twist is, come with me if you want to live. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh my God, wait, he's a good guy? Or is he tricking them to kill him? No, he's actually good. And then when the other Terminator comes in the T-1000, which again is the Filter singer Richard Patrick's brother, Robert Patrick, who also was the dad in Walk the Line. Kenzie, I know you love Walk the Line.
I do love Walk the Line.
He's been an amazing actor. He somehow managed to be, in a way, more evil than Arnold was in the first movie.
Oh, absolutely.
A liquid Terminator walks through walls. In the jail, when he goes through the wall and then the gun doesn't go through and he turns around and looks at the gun like he can't figure out why the gun's not going through.
All that stuff in the mental hospital is insane.
Oh.
So, Kaz, when you watched the first one, you never got an inkling, you never knew that in the second one this guy was going to become good.
Never considered it.
Yeah. It's ironic. It's one of those things where, how every once in a while in a franchise, something that happens later, kind of like the Jason hockey mask, is actually what sticks. And Terminator being the good guy, even though that's not what happens at the beginning of this, is what has stuck, which is always really interesting. I like that.
Well, it's just, at the end of the day, Arnold is one of the most compelling figures that I've ever seen in any movie. That was my takeaway from the first one, where his role is so limited. He only speaks about 18 lines in that movie, but there's just something inherently cool about looking at this guy. I just want him to be on camera all the time, and you see in the second one, obviously, such a dramatic increase in the dialogue that he speaks. The physicality is all ramped up. What I think is so great about this movie, just to compare it to the ones that I've watched over the last year, this has the grit of a violent war movie like Saving Private Ryan, which I watched. It has the charm of a movie like Roadhouse. All the stuff with Arnold trying to learn how to be human-like could have fallen really flat, could have been really silly, but it works. It has that charm, and then it increases on just the epicness of a movie like Die Hard, which had come out a few years earlier. It all is just this perfect storm, and I see now, having watched some of movie history, how this movie came to be, and I am so blown away by how good it was.
Your passion, you're so excited. I love it. And you talking about the humor of the movie, when we got the phrase, the first movie, I'll be back, became something everybody said. And then this one was hasta la vista, baby.
Fantastic.
Here's the scene of how he learned that from the kid.
Keep it under 65. We don't want to be pulled over.
Affirmative.
No. You gotta listen to the way people talk. You don't say affirmative or some like that. You say no problemo. And if someone comes off to you with an attitude, you say eat me. And if you want to shine them on, it's hasta la vista, baby.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Kenzie, just a little peek into me giving Case a ride home in the car every day. I'm Arnold, and he's the kid when he's telling me about new hardcore bands. And he goes, this band is so good, you got to go see them. And I go, affirmative. And he goes, no, you got to say something cooler, like no problemo. And I go, no problemo. Yeah, also, Paul checked in from Berwyn, and Paul said the bike scene is what I always used as a DVD to whenever I move to set up my home sound system.
Oh, yeah, funny.
Because I used to use the Fast and the Furious for that, but that's a great idea to use the bike's chase scene to set up your. And thanks
What do you
for checking.
mean? What do you mean you use it to set up a sound system?
So it's not like today we have sound bars, but in the old days, if you had a home theater, and a lot of people still have this, like Pants, the guy, have like 7 speakers around a TV.
Pants is the guy we work with, just in case you're confused.
Yeah, the guys, the speakers in the back and the front. So they use that scene, and you would just have to kind of tweak your speakers to make sure they were right. So you want the gun getting cocked from behind you in that speaker, so you had to tweak them a little bit. Today, it's a lot easier with the sound bars.
Oh.
Kenzie, whenever I move and I move my vinyl setup, I always use the Postal Service Such Great Heights as the test for my speaker quality because of the way that the sound goes back and forth in between headphones. It's a good left-right test. That's a whole other segment about how to test your speakers.
Boy, do I just plug stuff in and leave.
Kenzie, 8 o'clock on Monday when we make the pop-up announcement. We're also going to do a segment on setting up home theater and adjusting left, right, and calibration your DBs to the back speakers and the front speakers and the subwoofer. You're going to really love it.
I'm like, that's on. So that's working.
Anything else before we get to a rating case?
It's just awesome. I hope that as we go throughout this journey of life, we can all find our own T-800, somebody that is loyal to us, somebody that will fight for us, somebody that just learns to love and to shed a tear. It is a beautiful movie, an incredibly emotional ending. This movie hit on every single thing that I would want it to before I give my rating. I will note, with the passing of Gene Hackman, because I see people asking on the text line, next week at this time we'll do Hoosiers.
Yeah.
That is the movie that won the Facebook poll, so next Friday, 8 o'clock, we will do Hoosiers. But my rating.
Before you do the rating,
yes,
2 quick points that Case had found in his research, and I remembered this.
Oh, yes.
Kenzie, I don't know if you know this. The original Terminator, so Terminator 1, which would have been Terminator 2 as well, the actor or person that James Cameron wanted to play the Terminator was O.J. Simpson.
Well, I get why he thought he would make a good Terminator.
But you know why he didn't cast him?
Why? Too realistic?
Too likable. Now, you got to remember, 1984.
84 for the first one.
O.J. Simpson, too likable to be a Terminator.
And that made OJ so upset, it drove him.
All right, Case, give your review now of the Terminator.
The other thing I want to note real quick is that the T-1000 of this movie, the original casting idea was Billy Idol.
That's insane to me.
Yes, and then he got in a motorcycle accident, couldn't do the movie, so it could have been way different. Instead, we got Filter's singer's brother.
Who, by the way, launched his career. And there's another quick fact on that, he's so thin in that movie. People said the Terminator's small and lean. And when he starts running, it looks crazy. He's actually running, and that's not sped up. That's how he ran in the movie. And I remember seeing an interview with him. He said, the reason I was so thin is because I was hungry. I hadn't gotten an acting job, and I was living in my car. And then he becomes the T-1000. And, of course, he's been in incredible movies since then.
Absolutely. Well, shout out to Pierce on the text line. He suggested rating this in molten metal thumbs up.
So good.
Which I will gladly do.
Yeah.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day. A strong 9.5 molten metal thumbs up out of 10. It goes on the Mount Rushmore, the best movies I've seen over the last year. Pulp Fiction, Shawshank Redemption, Jaws, and now I can add Terminator 2 Judgment Day as the 4th movie on that list.
Love it.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.